All right, we might kick off. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening for the November Council meeting. It's scary to think we're in November. Can everyone please stand for the original prayer, opening prayer and original custodian statement. Almighty God, grant to this council wisdom, understanding and sincerity of purpose for the good governance of this city. Amen. And council acknowledges the Peak Wurrong and Curry Wurrong peoples of the Maar Nation, the land, waterways and skies within the Warrnambool municipality, and we pay our respects to their elders past and present. Please be seated. Thank you. We'll move on to item 2, which is apologies, and everyone's here this evening, so there are no apologies. So we'll move on to item 3, which is the confirmation of minutes. Can we get a mover that the minutes of the scheduled meeting held on the 6th of October 2025 be confirmed? Councillor Edis, do we have a seconder? Councillor Jelly, no one had any issues or concerns? All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 4, declaration by councillors and officers of any conflicts of interest. Any conflicts of interest this evening? Councillor Benter.
Thank you, Mayor. Conflict with 7.5, the Lover Street road rehabilitation contract.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. We'll ask you to leave the meeting when we're discussing that item. We'll move on to item 5, the mayoral presentation. I'd first like to pay my respects to Ian Lefty Wright. It was sad, early last month, just after the council meeting, we learnt of his passing, a local legend of the Nestles and Warrnambool football clubs. So council would like to pay these respects to Ian and his family. And I'd also like to talk about the Southwest Victorian Alliance parliamentary event. It was a really great event to see. We had the alliance of the 5 councils plus the 25 businesses from across Southwest Victoria, all talking about their issues and, you know, what they want to see to make Southwest better than it is, and it was really positive. You know, roads were a big part, and building our local economy and resilience was a really big part of that event. Also, the councils reaffirmed their regional advocacy by signing the Memorandum of Understanding to continue in the alliance as well last week. And I'd just like to remind everyone, we've got the Soundtracks Festivals on this weekend, again Friday and Saturday. Track 2's coming, so if you've got nothing on, come down and check it out. And also on Saturday, we've got the Multicultural Festival happening as well. We'll now move on to item 6, public question time. Mr Mason, were there any questions?
There's been no questions submitted.
We'll now move on to item 7, reports. 7.1, advocacy priorities. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. A strong and effective approach to advocacy is an important role for council. In the current economic climate, I think it'll be increasingly important and somewhat difficult, and so that means that we've got to be really cogent and really strong on our messaging for what the Warrnambool community needs. So I'm really happy to, and as councillors will know, we've spent a fair bit of time workshopping this. But we're submitting a list of advocacy priorities for the council on page 6. The plan would be that we would then take these advocacy priorities and make sure that they're firmly in front of the government and opposition in the run-up to both the state election but also the next state budget. So a recommendation before you on page 6.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Jelly.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move the officer's recommendation that the council endorses the advocacy priorities for the 2025-2026 financial year.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Jelly.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a diverse list of priorities, whether they are council, regional or community-led priorities. The 2026 state election hopefully will bring our an opportunity to put our priorities forward for the City of Warrnambool in a strong position for funding and support. Some of these have been on our agenda for a while and projects we've worked through, so they're all very important and each have their own merit. Our city will continue to advocate, as the CEO suggested, to both sides of government in the coming year. Whilst all have their own particular merit and benefit to the community at large, I personally hold great support for the community-led ones especially. A new surf club building, developed and led by the Warrnambool Surf Club, Lifesaving Club. The current club room facilities are out of date and no longer fit for purpose for the year that we are in of 2025 and into the future. The service the Warrnambool Surf Lifesaving Club members contribute to this community are vitally important, not only for our local community, but for our visitors to the city, tourism and safety for all on our fabulous foreshore. So I think it's very important that we help push to get some funding to build a new surf club building at the foreshore. The other project that has been earmarked for many years is a residential rehabilitation centre for drug and alcohol to be provided for this city, but for the region. It's a facility that would benefit the region, and here we are in 2025, and the only region in Victoria without a government-funded facility or a full commitment for one. Yes, there's been funds for a feasibility study, which is happening. But for one, we know as the Lookout, the group behind it, with RAD wanting to make this happen, but we need a solid commitment to deliver one to the city for the region. So some great opportunities in the coming months ahead.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, as my colleague has mentioned, that some of these projects have been on our list for several years, and disappointingly we've been overlooked time and time again. There are a few there that we can possibly attempt to start on our own, including the Merri River revegetation and pathways and things, but we need serious money from other sources. We advocate strongly for things like a redeveloped aquatic centre, the rehabilitation centre that Councillor Jelly has already mentioned, the surf club in particular. These are all items that we need seriously down here, and we need a lot more attention paid to our particular region from the funding bodies, and this council is good to advocate strongly for all of those projects.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Arnott.
Yes, thank you. Look, I do wish to endorse my fellow councillors, particularly the community-led facilities, and I was going to speak about them, but one of our priorities that has been, I suppose, something that I've been very passionate about, and it is going to take a lot of money, time and effort, has been the Flagstaff Hill being reimagined. Unfortunately, it does cost us a lot of money to run this facility. We do have a really good master plan drawn up to have it reimagined, but of course it's going to take money and a lot of different stakeholders coming together to see that come to fruition. We are seeking $625,000 for a feasibility study and a master plan. Sorry, I said that wrong before. It is really aspirational, and we know that fiscally times are very tight, but it is important that we keep these sort of projects in the centre and eye of the current governments, because as soon as we let those projects, those types of projects fall off, we just slip further down the rung. So it is really important. As Councillor Jelly has said, I was also going to highlight the need for our drug and rehabilitation centre, alcohol and drug rehabilitation centre. The cost to the community is just so immense. Like if we look at the harm to family, friends and the community, let alone the patients, the people suffering themselves. We are the only region in Victoria without one, so I fully support the community in trying to get this facility off the ground. So happy to endorse all the projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Benter.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yes, there's some really good projects there that we need to be advocating for, and hopefully some funding will come our way. The Briley Wellbeing and Recreation Hub's in desperate need of a building up there, and it's been on the plans for a long time for that to happen. So hopefully we can get a little bit more effort and a bit more noise on that. But it also comes down to the community to advocate as well, not just us as councillors. With that, they need to be contacting their local members as well, and also putting it forward, even if it's regional as well, with the RAD, with the Alcohol Rehabilitation Centre and the Surf Lifesaving Club. The more people that make a noise in relation to these, the better outcomes hopefully we can achieve. So it's a community effort as well to advocate for these things, these projects that come across the line. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to echo the sentiments of my fellow councillors, in particular around those community-led projects, the Surf Lifesaving Club and the Rehabilitation Centre. They are critically important, and it's great to see that we're setting an example and supporting the community, and really as best we can leading the community through establishing these two critical pieces. It's nice to have really clear council priorities. I think that's really good. I just want to highlight, obviously, the upgraded whale viewing platform at Logan's Beach. Fantastic way to attract people to our town, keep them here guessing or hunting for whales. So any investment we can make in there is really valuable, and there's some really good ideas and good plans around that. So that's nice to see. And it's also good to see Warrnambool taking a lead in that regional sphere. Some priorities around the government regional projects fund and pushing for that with regional sittings and Southwest Victoria Alliance. So that's really good. And obviously the road and rail, two really, really big things for our region. So, we need to be a dog with a bone when it comes in particular to the roads. So we keep pushing the state government and the federal government to take some more action around the state of our roads. So good to see, nice and clear, good clarity for the community of what we're trying to achieve. So happy to support.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Any other councillor wish to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. I think my fellow councillors have covered it really well, but I just want to say that it's just a really important year with the election coming up this year, and that's where we just really need to be real strategic in our priorities, as we've itemised here, and like Councillor Walsh said, just be in the face of the local government, whether it be current government or opposition, depending on who wins the election, that we are front and centre for funding when it comes available.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. And I'd just like to add, it is a really strategic priority, before we go back to Councillor Jelly. It has been a really strategic priority around, the mix of different projects here. We're not just looking at sport and rec, we're looking at arts and culture, we're looking at, there's bigger dollar projects, there's smaller dollar projects, there's a real range there that we really need to be funded here in Warrnambool to better not just Warrnambool but Southwest Victoria, and that's what we're going to be working towards in the coming election year. And those regional priorities as well are incredibly important to be able to deliver. All of the the establishment of the Regional Projects Fund is going to be critical in being able to deliver a range of different projects, not just across Warrnambool but across regional Victoria. And as Councillor Walsh has said, roads are a huge issue. Every single one of us knows it, and we're not going to be giving up. We deserve to have safe roads for everyone to be able to use, for their kids to be able to use. It is so important. And those community-led projects, and Councillor Jelly and Councillor Arnott really summed it up really well. RAD, we're the only region that doesn't have a drug and alcohol rehab centre. And Surf Lifesaving Club, it's one of the oldest surf lifesaving clubs left along the coast. We need better facilities than that, because we know the amazing difference that RAD's going to make and the amazing work that Warrnambool Surf Lifesaving Club does. Councillor Jelly, do you wish to add anything to close?
Yes, look, I think we're all across it. We're all supportive of everything we've got here. I think the community-led ones, the community has stood up for this. as, you know, RAD's been after this, led with their community behind them for quite a few years, and the Surf Club. So, you know, the committee down at the Surf Club have pushed and gone to Parliament themselves. So I think we've got a wide variety of things. We're already doing good work down there. We've had our representation of Vulnerable City down at Spring Street quite often, talking to both sides of government. So I think we're in good stead, but we will continue to do that to work towards this election next year.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.2, the Privacy Policy 2025. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a relatively simple change to our current privacy policy. The privacy policy wasn't due to be reviewed, but we've been requested by a state government partner who we share data with, or we use their data, that they wanted to make sure that we had a clear and explicit data incident management procedure. So the policy has been amended to reflect those requirements, and is before Council for adoption. Two-part recommendation on page 14.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move the recommendation that Council 1 revokes the Privacy Policy 2023, 2 adopts the Privacy Policy 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Reedus. Councillor Arnott.
Yes, as Mr Mason has said, this is a relatively straightforward piece of work. Council does deal with an enormous amount of personal and sensitive data, so we need to be, I'm really happy we now have a dedicated process if there's been any issues there. So very, very happy to support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Councillor Reedus, do you wish to add anything?
No, Mayor.
Any other councillor wish to speak? And Councillor Arnott?
No, thank you.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.3, the Annual Action Plan 2025-2026. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is really good practice, but this is the first quarter of our annual action plan reporting. The report provides details on where our annual actions are up to, with most actions on track. It's early, given it's the first quarter, it's probably early days still, but it's an important way for councillors to be able to track how we're progressing.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Jelly.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that we take the recommendation of the officers that the annual action plan 2025-2026, July to September, quarter 1 be received.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Jelly.
Thank you. Yes, it is the start of the new financial year and quarter 1. Gratifying to see a broad spectrum of actions, projects across all areas of council are off to a good start to progress for the first quarter. It'll be good to be able to finalise the Bushfield Woodford strategic plan in the coming months. It's been looked at and looked at again, so it's going to be great to get some information back there. And also the installation of a vital roundabout at the intersection of Croydon and Wright Streets near the hospital precinct there. The design work has been completed for this and stakeholder engagement has been undertaken due to the works at the hospital with the build of the new hospital. The construction is set for mid-2026, so this will be a great improvement, absolutely wonderful improvement there, a roundabout to slow down the traffic in such an important precinct that is often very dangerous at times navigating. So a good start to the year.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. It's heartening to see that the vast majority of the activity is actually on schedule. It's happening. I think this is a picture that is better than we've seen in previous years. Most of it, there's only a tiny amount that's been withdrawn. A significant amount has been achieved already. And frankly, there's been an awful lot of the activity in there that's been subject to community consultation. So it's very heartening to see that the stuff is all on schedule, it's all happening.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm going to delve in just a few more light-hearted things about what we've been doing. And I was going to mention about the Bushville-Woodford thing, but obviously Councillor Jelly has said that. But I'm pleased to see that planning is underway for our 2026 Salter Search Party. Very happy about that, the free community event. Also, that the new Flagstaff Hill website's been upgraded, and that's went live in mid-August, so that's got to help a little bit there. And also, the Warrnambool gift card has launched, which began on October 27th. Now, there's over 150 businesses have joined, and that's an aim to keep money locally and help local business within the community. So I think that's a really great thing, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Benter.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd just like to comment. Yeah, it's very good progress on the plan. There's been some terrific outcomes already in relation to planting over 500 plants, 5,000 plants and trees already in that quarter, which is there's been some busy people. It's been a group effort with some schools and the Glenelg Catchment Authority in the areas, which is great. It's pleasing to see the youth engagement as well, the programs have been achieved, and also the progress with the Warrnambool and Moyne Youth Advisory Board, which is a great outcome for the youth as well. And also the active Warrnambool strategy nearly at completion as well, so it'd be good to the feedback and the final approval for that would be great to see. So no, overall it's great outcomes so far.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Jelly, do you wish to add anything to close?
No. Nothing
All right,
at
we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.4, the Key Worker and Affordable Housing, Harrington Road, Dennington Revoke Resolution. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a good news story, although it is it says a revoke. It is actually a good news story, I think, that the Harrington Road Key Worker and Affordable Housing Project recently received planning approval from the Planning Minister. Unfortunately, our previous community housing provider, Haven Home Safe, have indicated that they're no longer able to take on the development risk. And as such, what we're recommending tonight is that Council revoke the parts of the previous resolution relating to Home Haven Safe and their planning approval. That will then enable us to proceed with undertaking expression of interest to gauge interest in the project, particularly from companies or people who are interested in both the build and ongoing operation of the units. So recommendation before you on pages 20 and 21.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move the councillor's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Jelly. Councillor Arnott.
Yes, well, even though we are revoking our previous expression of interest, we are now able to move forward even quicker, hopefully. A big thank you to the Minister for giving us this fast-track approval, which has already been implemented. We've been working on this project for 3 years, I think now, and I still firmly believe that it is a great project for us. It can have enormous benefit to our community straight away. It's about key worker and affordable housing. You know, when we talk key worker, we can be talking about professional people, doctors, dentists, nurses, teachers, I'm sure every one of us can relate to needing a doctor and not being able to get into a doctor's surgery. The same with lots of other medical professionals. So I am really happy that we can do this, and I fully endorse the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, very similar thoughts to Councillor Arnott. This is a fantastic benefit. It's great this has now come through. We've been waiting for it, and thank you to the Minister for putting this through now straight. It will go ahead. Yes, we must revoke the previous resolution, but exciting to actually put it out for expressions of interest to see who will come forward. Up to 50 homes in this area, and yes, definitely key worker and affordable housing that will benefit so many people. Like Councillor Arnott said, a nurse or a plumber, it could be anyone. Key workers are across the spectrum. And affordable homes for those who will benefit from that and who will be able to move in there. So this is great. There was a lot of community consultation done with this last time, so look forward to the expression of interest going out and moving forward with it.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? I'd just like to add to it's the affordable housing is so important. We've got some of the highest rents in Warrnambool across regional Victoria compared to our housing values, and it is a challenge being able to find a rental. And it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean you haven't got a good job or you're not earning good money, but for some that's something that is out of reach, and being able to have that option here and being able to encourage a community housing provider to actually come hopefully to Warrnambool and service the southwest is something that is a critical need for Warrnambool. Our closest community housing providers at the moment, the closest offices we have are in Ballarat, Bendigo and Geelong, over 2 or 3 hours away. It's a critical need across all of our, across the southwest, and we want to see, a community housing provider here providing for southwest Victoria and making sure there are those affordable homes available so that everyone can actually live here and have an amazing life like we do. Councillor Arnott, do you wish to add anything to close?
Well, you've stole my thunder there, because I was just going to say that I would be really hoping that we do get that community provider here, because that's only going to open up more opportunity for more people to get into some affordable housing. And I just want to stress it's not social housing, it's actually affordable housing, which are two entirely different things. So to be able to get now to a point where we can get 50 dwellings out there, I think it's just wonderful. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott, and it'll be in a short period too with the modular designs.
Yes.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.5, the Lava Street Road Rehabilitation. Councillor Benter, can you please leave? You've declared a conflict. All right, item 7.5, the Lava Street Road Rehabilitation, Liebig Street, Banyan Street. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This report relates to the award of a contract for road rehabilitation work in Lava Street. We've been through a competitive tender process, and officers recommend that the tender be offered to Fulton Hogan. A recommendation before you on page 24 across 4 parts.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the council's recommendation to award the contract to Fulton Hogan be accepted.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Edis.
Thank you. Yeah, as Mr Mason said, it was a competitive tender with multiple tenders received, and through the waiting process, it is pleasing to see that Fulton Hogan have been awarded the contract, they have recently completed the Botanic Road refurbishment, which they completed to a high standard and on time within a school holiday period, which was critical to maintaining the traffic throughout having that completed before school went back. So we know they're capable of completing the project within the timeframes, especially when they've confirmed they're capable of completing it during night time, which is really important with local businesses in the area as well. And the other good part is that they've invested Fulton Hogan invested a lot of money into Warrnambool through their plant that they've recently constructed with local employees. So it's good to be able to award a contract back to a company that's got a lot of local ties.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, I'm happy to echo the comments of Councillor Edis there. I'm confident that the process has been gone through very carefully by our officers, and I'm happy to support the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Edis, do you wish to add anything to close?
No, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.6. Oh, sorry, I'll ask Councillor Benter to come back. My apologies. Thank you, Councillor Benter. That was passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.6, the Early Years Services Cleaning Contract. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. So again, following a competitive tender process, we are recommending that a contract be awarded to RP Facilities Services for the cleaning of our early years service sites. So that includes both kindergartens and childcare. Our recommendation is before you on page 27 across the 5 parks.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'll move that the officer's recommendation be received.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Benter. Councillor Ziegler.
Again, this is another work of due diligence by the officers, and the recommendation been made that the RP Facility Services Proprietary Limited be awarded the contract. I'm confident that they will do an adequate job.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Benter.
No, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it's pleasing to see the amount of tenders that came in with that, and they've been reviewed. It's also good to see that the tenders come under the budget as well that was proposed for that tender. So the savings of over 200,000, so over the 3-year period. So it's a good outcome with that tender as well. So, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Benter. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Ziegler, do you wish to add anything to close? No. We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.7, the informal meetings of council reports. Mr Mason.
Just to note, Mayor, that I have circulated a change to the 27th of October. We noted correcting councillors who were there virtually versus who were not there in person. So, everything else remains the same.
You don't want that, the recommendation can stay the same?
I recommend, yeah, because we've already updated that.
Okay.
So.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Jelly?
Thank you. I move that the records of the informal meetings of council held on the 13th, 20th and 27th of October 2025 be received.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh? No one wishes to speak. We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.8, the Mayoral and Chief Executive Officer Council Activity Summary Report. The report's there for everyone. Do we have any questions before we have a mover? Do we have a mover? Councillor Edis? Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh? No one wishes to speak. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 8, notices of motion. Mr Mason?
No notices tonight.
Item 9, general business. Was there any general business anyone wanted to raise this evening? No. Item 10, urgent business. Any items of urgent business, Mr Mason?
None.
We'll now move on to item 11, the close of the meeting. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.